If I wasn't in them streets acting a fool on the wrong side of the tracks, I would not have ended up in that situation with Voldemort. So, although it was an ugly situation that took me a great deal of time to really use in a productive way, it was my fault. It was all my fault. And I'm going to tell you guys why and how maybe you can keep yourself from going down the path that I went down. Hey y'all, I'm Queen Offset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Pass it on to somebody else who might like it too, and please drop us a positive comment in the comment section. And stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to respond to two of my favorite positive comments from previous videos. One of them could be yours, or I could have something interesting to say from one of those comments. Okay? Underneath this video is everything you need to know about me. My email is there, all of my social media information, my Amazon wish list, because gifts are my love language. What else is under there? My Teespring Ask an Aquarius merchandise. So if you want a cool shirt that says Ask an Aquarius, or a mug, or a pillow, or a plethora of other things you can put Ask an Aquarius on, that would be really cool. So check it out. It's all underneath here. And if you want to become a patron, that would be fabulous. My Patreon page information is underneath here too. And you can check out my new series, Magical Minutes, which is only broadcast for now on Patreon, where I talk about something magical for a couple of minutes. So different things. I've given spells. I've talked about the history of witchcraft, all kinds of different stuff. I've shown crystals. I've done all kinds of things. So become a patron. All right, guys. So yeah, like, man, a lot of that is karma. I'm gonna tell you straight up, because at that point in my life, when I was in this situation with Voldemort, I was about 27 years old. In my younger life, before I initiated to become a priestess, which was at 29, all before that, I was in and out of trouble. I was in and out of troubles all the time. And not like big, like, getting arrested kind of trouble. Thank goodness. That's the one thing I managed to dodge. But like, I was always in some treachery, lying about something, messing with somebody's chick, messing with somebody's dude. I was always arguing, cussing somebody out. I was always in some mess, in some drama, in some something, And the universe kept giving me the message to get my act together. It was like, ever since I was raised Catholic, like I told you guys, and I knew right from wrong. And the universe was always trying to get me to go to those principles. And I knew that was the right way to go since I was younger. And it's really interesting because when somebody first mentioned to me changing, like getting into spirituality and changing, I was like, wow, like, like really, I could do that? Like, it blew me away because I knew that I needed to do better. So the situation with Voldemort was my karma. It was bad karma. It was years and years and years. Let me think. I probably started treachery ever since I was little, like little Aquarius. Like, if you're a little Aquarius, not all of us, but some of us are like mischievous. So I started off with the mischief as a little kid. I was always in trouble for it, always pulling a prank or doing something or digging in something or looking in something I had no business all the time. I was always in some shit. Since I can remember, my mother told me that when I was about 6 months old, this is when it started, y'all. When I was 6 months old, she said she left me in my playpen. And my mother used to clean the house. My mother was a very domesticated person. She would clean, she would cook, she would make things. She grows vegetables and stuff. I mean, she's very country, very domesticated. And she left me in my playpen to go clean or cook or do something she was doing. And I took a Jack-in-the-Box toy. It's a square toy, and you roll it up and the jack pops out. I took this Jack-in-the-Box toy and focused on one of the little holes, because back then and they might still be, the playpens were made out of this netting material in the 70s. And I focused on one hole. I don't know how at 6 months old I even knew to do this, but I focused on one little hole and took that Jack-in-the-Box and kept hitting it against the hole. Now, mind you, because of the fact that it's netting, it's not making any noise. So my mother didn't even hear me banging the thing, against this netting. Well, what happens with netting, if you hit a hole, the hole continues to increase. My mother said the next thing she knew, she came into the room. I was sitting on the couch eating her food that she had left on the table, watching The Young and the Restless. So I had escaped the playpen, took my mother's food, which at 6 months old, I'm pretty sure I wasn't supposed to be eating, crawled up on the couch and started watching the soap operas. So I set it off from the beginning. From the beginning, I was in mischief. And it just kept on going. So by the time I was 27 and talking to Voldemort and seeing Voldemort, I was well into my treachery. I swore I was Erica Kane. A large part of me was telling me, that's not the way to go. We need to change this. But I was still not willing to make the commitment to clean up my karma and live a better life. The universe kept on giving me experiences because things kept going wrong in my life to show me you're not going the right way. And Voldemort was just the last thing. I really feel like, and I heard Oprah say this, and I've heard other people say this, I feel like if you don't get a lesson, that the universe keeps presenting the same lesson to you, but it presents it, in my opinion, worse every time. So if you need to learn to love yourself and stop being treacherous and things like that, you're going to get experiences that are going to come to you that are going to try to push you in the other direction. And the more that you refuse, the more hard-headed you are, I think the worse it gets. Because I had other relationships before Voldemort that didn't go well. I had some that went great, or some that I couldn't even say they went great. I mean, the other person wasn't problematic, put it like that. I was problematic sometimes. So some of the times I had relationships with people that were pretty decent, and other times they were just awful. So any of those other awful relationships before him, such as my daughter's father, my marriage, any of those relationships could have been the catalyst for me to be like, you know what? This is happening because I'm making bad decisions. This is happening because my karma is dirty from mischief and things that I ain't had no business doing for over 20-something years, And if at any given time I was like, you know what, I'm going to change, I would have never met Voldemort. Because I wouldn't have been vibrating, because everything is vibration. So I wouldn't have been vibrating in such a way that I needed such a painful lesson. The universe tried to give me this lesson in more than one way, more than one time. But it was that one that really stuck. And the reason why that one stuck and made me change my life is because it was the most painful one. It was the one that really hurt. It was the one that really hurt. The other ones I kind of skated through, I kind of like finagled them or whatever the case was. I got some hurt. I got some bad situations, but I got out of them. That was the only one that I didn't come out of unscathed. The other ones were a lot easier to really navigate, but Voldemort was painful. Voldemort was awful. And like I said, if I had not been hard-headed and got it the first time, the second time, the third time, the fourth time, the fifth time, I would have never even got to that level of vibrating in such a way that such an awful, abusive person was drawn to me. And I was drawn to this person. that would have never happened. I would have drawn a much better person. You know, if I was a better person, I would have drawn a better person. And that's not always the case. I'm not saying that everybody who gets a messed up person is a messed up person, because sometimes you'll see a really nice person draw a really cruel person, and it's other dynamics at play during that time. Probably still a lesson the universe is still trying to teach, but it's just a different lesson. That nice person who draws an evil, negative person, the universe could be trying to teach them to stand up for themselves, or how to, not put up with somebody's crap, or even the self-love will fit into that situation as well, But in my case, who I attracted was a mirror of who I was. And he was worse than I was. He had different problems than I did, and he was a lot sicker, than I was, or than many people ever will be. But the bottom line is that was the lesson I needed. That was the intensity of the lesson that I needed to say, okay, I'm sorry, I'll stop. That was what I needed. And I didn't have to wait till it got to that point. I could have figured it out other times. And I did figure it out at other times. But because I came through those situations unscathed, I'm like, well, shit, I can do whatever I want. And just kind of surf through the next situation. And that time, I could not. That was it. That was it. And after that, I was like, Goddess, I will be good. I promise. I promise I will behave myself. And I did. From that moment on, I promised to change, and I worked towards being a better person every day since then. I was 27 years old. I'm 43 now. Every day, I get up and work on relieving some baggage, healing some part of me, looking at myself, being a better person, being a vehicle and a vessel for the divine. Every day I wake up and try to figure out how to do better. Because that situation taught me, no, you're not going in the right direction. This was not your mission. This is not your purpose. You did not come here for this shit. You came here to be better, to do better, and to be around better people, and to offer something to this world instead of slumming and bumming on the wrong side of the tracks with somebody that you shouldn't even be around. Some of the times I sit and I be like, oh my God, I'm so blessed that I even got out of that situation. And even other situations. You ever think about the crazy shit you've been through and sit there and be like, damn, I was definitely blessed to even get through it. Other people didn't make it through stuff like that. So sometimes I sit and I think about it. I mean, I was in this situationship, this entanglement with this really sick person. And he already put me through bad things, but imagine how much more I could have been put through if I wasn't who I was. If I wasn't who I was, I don't think I would have made it. I really don't. And I know other people who've been in relationship with him and same issues. And I often pray for them, because when I see them, I'm like, I can tell they're still affected by that negative energy. I can tell they're still affected by that time, because Voldemort is a emotional, mental abuser. Those situations give you extreme PTSD. And I can look at his exes and myself and see it. And I'm just like, my goodness. And I feel like I came out of it, I worked my way through it, and I did a lot of stuff. I don't think they did the same things. So I'm thinking, from looking at them, they're still buried under all that pain. It's just awful. So if you're on the streets acting up, if you're on the streets being mischievous, if you're lying, if you messing with somebody dude, messing with somebody chick, telling, unscrupulous things, if you're doing things that's accumulating bad karma, I strongly suggest that you dedicate yourself to cleaning it up before something awful has to happen to scare you straight. if something awful has to happen to make you realize that you're not going the right way. You already know you're not going the right way. You already know. So please, for those of you who are sitting there thinking like, yeah, some of you are with a Voldemort right now, and that's how you got your Voldemort. Same exact way, you know? And the best thing that you can do is escape. Escape in any way that you can and start doing the work to heal yourself. And whatever it is that got you in that situation, whatever treachery or whatever you've been up to, stop. That's my recommendation, because that's how I changed my life around and made everything a lot better. If I had continued, I probably would have met another Voldemort who was 10 times worse than him. And then another one, and then another one. I think that's the way the hierarchy goes. The longer you don't get it, the more things happen. So you guys be careful out there. It's not hard to treat people with respect. It's not hard to treat yourself with respect. So please do that, okay? All right, let's take a look at some of these positive comments. Doris Wright. Hey, Doris. Doris said, your laughter is superb and contagious. A beautiful lady. Oh, Doris, thank you. That is so sweet. Thank you. I'm always laughing, Doris. I be cracking up. I crack myself up. I really do. One of my friends, my best friend from school, always tells me how corny my jokes are. And she was like, you be cracking up and they corny. It always makes me laugh so hard because I'm like, whatever, you listening to them, so whatever. Brittany. And I've noticed that we tend to look at all people the same, meaning Aquarius. Friends, family, co-workers, and strangers all get treated the same. Oh yeah, they can all catch a fade. You can all get the business. That's right. We don't tolerate the foolery and mockery from anyone. Once an Aquarius has made up their mind, that mind is made, and they not putting up with none of that. I agree with that 100%. And it's true, because honestly, some people give family a pass. And I used to give family a pass too. But I realized over time that sometimes family is actually the worst. Some of the times they are the worst perpetrators against you. Some of the times they're the ones that talk about you the baddest, the ones that put you down, the ones who won't even give you a hand out. In my lowest moments, it was my friends. And this is why my loyalty is always with my friends, because at my lowest moments, it was my friends that had my back. It was my friends that gave me money when my light bill was, when my electricity was going to get turned off. It was my friends who looked out for me when I needed something. So my loyalty is always with those who was loyal to me. And it wasn't family. Now, some family members didn't really even know what I went through. I didn't ask them for anything. I didn't tell them anything. So some of them didn't know. But the ones who were aware, who could have been helpful to me, who want to be close to me now, and I'll be looking at them like, those people, I'm not mad at them anymore. But I remember that time. And there was a time when I needed you, and you chose not to have my back. So don't expect me to be all up in your face now. It was my friends. It was my friends. And that even if, like, I have this one friend, she and I aren't as close anymore, but whenever she needs anything, I always jump, because during that time, she was one of those people who looked out for me. So it is what it is. All right, guys, please come back soon, because I got a lot more to say. Seriously. See you later.